Do you need these bad boys? These are what we call wrestling boots. You can see mine are absolutely battered. I had to just take the tape off it just then because it was absolutely disgusting. But I taped my shoes up. And these, what I call lifesavers. But let's get into it. Do you actually need wrestling boots? I'll put them down there. Now, why do I wear wrestling boots? Number one, stability. The reason for that is your ankles. When you wrestle, you're kind of in a little bit different positions to what you would be if you were striking. You're going to be shooting and there's a lot of pressure on your ankles. So number one, it gives you some sort of stability around your ankles and then it's going to help prevent those injuries. Number two, stops mat burn. Now this is probably the main reason I use them. The main reason. There's nothing worse than shooting and getting blisters and mat burn on the top of your feet, on the top of your toes. It's painful, so painful. And if you get that on a session and you try and do the next session the same thing, it's then going to get bigger and then it may lead to some sort of infection which could put you out the training. So by wearing these, when you shoot across the mat, you don't get mat burn. And it's absolutely lovely. I love not getting mat burn. When I forget my wrestling shoes, I hate it because I get so much mat burn, it's unbelievable. And no one wants to get staph, even staph. Next one, smoother transitions. I find you can do smoother transitions when you wear the wrestling boots to when you are barefoot. Next one, protecting your feet. Now, this is for your joints and everything like that. We want longevity in the sport, so I don't want to injure my feet and not being able to train. This also comes down to if you are injured, I want to protect my feet. If I've got a little bruise on my feet, I want to protect them a little bit more from people standing on them and other things along those lines that's going to make the injury worse. And that is why I put the shoes on. And if anyone on the mat, and I mean anyone, is wearing wrestling boots, I will always put mine on in a wrestling session. If no one is wearing wrestling boots, I can get away with not wearing them. But if you're not wearing them, see, I've got my wrestling shoes on. Pretend this is a foot. And this guy, he's wearing wrestling shoes. He shoots in. Boom. On your toenail. See you later, toenail. In a bit, alligator. It's out of there. One time I was wrestling. Some guy shot in. He kicked my toenail clean off. My big toe. I've never been in so much pain in my entire life. And it was so sore. So sore. So if anyone's wearing wrestling shoes, I want to wear them because I do not want my toenails getting kicked off. Now, when do I actually wear them? Mainly wrestling sessions. That is the main sessions that I will wear the wrestling boots. It's obviously in the name. Another time I will wear them, as I've said already, is when my feet are a little bit injured. This is going to help prevent the injuries and stop them from getting worse or prevent them. Another time is when I have blisters on the bottom of my feet. Maybe I've been on a new mat and I've got blisters, big blood blisters, and it's going to make it worse by rubbing constant back and forth on the mat. So I'm going to put the wrestling shoes on. And this is personal choice. If you're doing an MMA session with a focus of wrestling, you can wear the wrestling boots. But in that particular situation, I am most likely not going to wear them unless I've got some sort of injury or a blister or anything along those lines. Because at the end of the day, you fight barefoot. So I want to drill according to how I fight, barefoot. So when I'm doing MMA, I'm doing my striking into my takedowns, I'm not wearing wrestling shoes. When I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm not wearing my wrestling shoes unless I'm injured or my feet are injured. When I'm doing striking, I'm not wearing wrestling shoes unless my feet are injured. But if I am injured, I've then got an option to wear them to prevent any further injuries. So it gives you the option. But the main time I will wear them is wrestling sessions in the open. Me personally, I don't really like wearing them on cage wrestling because this is grip. That's broken. Let's get the good one. I'm a tight ass, so I've not bought any new ones yet. But you see this grip here? When you're getting taken down on the cage, sometimes this grip can stick on the floor a little bit, so your foot can get caught. And imagine your foot getting caught and doing this. It's not very nice. So on cage wrestling, I will choose not to wear these. I'd rather not. If we're doing little drills, I'll wear them maybe at the start, but when we're going live, I will take them off just for the fact I don't particularly want to get injured. But is it worth buying a pair of wrestling shoes? My personal opinion is yes, definitely. Definitely. You do not need them, but I highly recommend them. And you can literally get a pair. I put 50 quid here, but you could probably get a pair for 30 quid. They can go all the way up to, I don't know, probably 500 quid. I was going to say 100 quid, but you can definitely get ones more expensive. These particular ones, I got them in America. They're probably the favourite wrestling shoes I've ever had. I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 pairs. I've had these for 4 years now. You can see they are battered. I need some new ones. But these at the time were 70 bucks, which is about £55, I believe. I don't know the current conversion rates, but it is along those lines. And these have done wonders. You don't particularly want them too low, because then you haven't got the stability on your ankle. So when I put these on, they're above my ankle. That gives this stability. My old ones, they were kind of below, so they weren't really too effective. And can you just get boxing boots and they do the same thing? Not particularly. They're kind of a little bit different. They may go a little bit higher, but the grip is totally different. So me personally, I would get wrestling boots for wrestling. I wouldn't get boxing boots for wrestling. I have boxing boots also. Shall I see if I've even got them? I have got them. So these are some boxing boots that I have. Let's compare. You can see these go a lot higher up. A lot higher up when we look at the grips. Totally different. This is more of a rigid one. There's not too much grippy sensation on there. These are more rubber. But I would never ever wrestle in these, because when I go to shoot, my foot is so high and it's glued in, I can't get that extension down towards the mat. Imagine that's my shin bone. I cannot do this when these are tight. And that is why I will always go for wrestling boots. And finally, if you think £50 is a lot of money, just think it as an investment. Everything that you buy for your career or for your training, boxing gloves, shin pads, gum shield, it's an investment. Boxing gloves, it's an investment so you can actually train, because you don't train bare knuckle. Shin pads, same thing, because you don't hit people with your shins, and it's going to protect you as well. Gum shield, why is that an investment? That is a better example. The reason it's an investment is because it protects these gnashers, stops these from getting hit out. And I'm guaranteed you'd rather spend, let's say, £70 on a gum shield than have a missing tooth. And the reason for that, it's an investment. And I see these as an investment as well. I'm a professional fighter. I train 2 to 3 times a day. This is an investment I want to make. If you only do it 3 times a week, you don't have to get them. You don't have to have wrestling boots, but I'd recommend having them as an option. And at the end of the day, they're only 50 quid. And if you don't have 50 quid, work out how you're going to get 50 quid. And I've done a video of jobs you can do to get money. So that is a way you can get 50 quid to get you some boots. But that is today's video, all about wrestling boots. A little bit of wrestling. I will see you in the next one. Bish, bash, bosh,